Let's look at some angles, some things you would have learned in primary school. If an angle is less than 90 degrees, it's acute. If it's 90 degrees, it's a right angle. If it's between 90 degrees and 180 degrees, it's obtuse. If it's a straight line, it's called a straight angle. That's 180 degrees. If we go all the way around between 180 and 360, it's a reflex. And if we go all the way around, that's called a revolution, and that's 360 degrees. When we've got an angle has got two arms, 1, 2, and this thing here is called the vertex. If I have a point here called R, a point there called M, and a point there called H, and I want to know the name of that angle, that is angle RMH. I go around the angle and the vertex is in the middle. Or I could call it angle, or I could call it angle HMR by starting at this side and going around there. The M has to be in the middle because it is in the middle when you get to the angle. Then we have some relationships between different angles. If I've got two straight lines, then this angle here is going to be exactly the same as that angle there, and they are called vertically opposite angles. This angle in here is also vertically opposite that angle there, so they are equal. Now, just because it uses the word vertically opposite doesn't actually mean that they have to be on top of one another, just as long as they are between the lines like I've drawn there. Then, if we've got two angles that are next to each other, so if I've got that angle and that angle, they are called adjacent angles. Adjacent means next to. If I've got a right angle and I've got two angles within that right angle, then this green angle and the yellow angle are called complementary angles because they add up to 90 degrees. If I have a straight angle, which is actually made up of this green angle and the yellow angle, because this angle and the green one go on a straight line, they are called supplementary angles. And lastly, if I've got a group of angles that make a revolution, all those angles together add up to 360 degrees, because there are 360 degrees in a revolution. Then lastly, we have parallel lines. Parallel lines head in the same direction, and to show that, we put arrows on them. If I have a line that cuts across those parallel lines, that's called a transversal. And you'll notice that it makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 angles when it crosses over the pair of parallel lines. Now, if we have a look at this angle here and this angle here, even when we look at it, they look about the same size. And if we draw the lines around those angles, it actually makes an F shape. Those two angles are equal because they are corresponding angles in parallel lines. And the corresponding angles form an F shape. So if I've got this set of parallel lines and the transversal, then that angle there is going to be corresponding with that one there. They are equal, and when you have a look at it, it looks like an F. If I draw a different one over here, set of parallel lines, draw the transversal. If I choose that angle there, then it's going to be corresponding with this angle here. It still makes an F shape even though it's a bit backwards. So corresponding angles in parallel lines are equal. There is another type of angles that are made in parallel lines, and that is alternate angles. If I choose this angle here and this one, those angles are the same size and they're called alternate angles. And alternate angles in parallel lines are equal, and they make a Z shape. To remind yourself that alternate angles make a Z shape, you could call it Zalternate angles. If I was to draw another set of parallel lines with a transversal, if I chose that angle there, then it is alternate with this one, and they are the same size, and there is my Z. If I do another one down here, with my transversal, I could choose this angle, and it would be alternate with this one, because there's my Z shape even though it's back the front. So alternate angles in parallel lines are equal. And lastly, we have co-interior angles. If I have this angle here and this angle here, they are inside this area. So they're co-interior angles. They don't even look the same, and they're not the same. Co-interior angles add to 180 degrees. So they're called co-interior, and they add to 180 degrees. And the shape it makes is either a C or a U. So if I have a set of parallel lines here, draw my transversal, then this angle here is co-interior with this one here. They're not the same size. And if you have a look, there's a C or a U shape there. And they add up, those two angles will add up to 180 degrees.